What are you doing? Where are you right now? I trembled with anger at my husband, who lied as if it was a matter of course.
I'm on a trip with our daughter. Why the sudden question?
Wait, did he just say on a trip with our daughter? He's off enjoying himself with his mistress, yet he leaves our innocent 3-year-old daughter at home. While I was in shock, my anger slowly faded. This man, he's not my husband anymore. I'm going to divorce this lying husband. I don't want to see his face ever again. My name is Emily. I live with my husband Tom, whom I've been married to for 5 years, and our adorable 3-year-old daughter, Catherine. Lately, Tom doesn't spend time with the family. He's always left household chores and child rearing to others, but for the past few months, he's been using busy at work as an excuse and hasn't been home until midnight. It's funny because he used to complain about being too busy with work when we were newlyweds. In the past, he was sloppy and hardly ever cared about his appearance, but lately, he's been wearing a woman's perfume and dressing up more. He must be cheating. Even if my husband's affair was evident, thinking of my daughter makes it hard to decide on a divorce. I don't know if it's right to deprive her of her father because of my selfish reasons. I've been spending my days in anguish and confusion. Then there was this one day when I went to pick up Catherine. On the way back from the nursery, Catherine began to talk with a slightly lonely look on her face.
Mom, does Dad not like me anymore?
Originally, my husband Tom was the one to drop off and pick up Catherine from daycare. But that day, only other fathers came to pick up their kids, and Tom didn't show up at the usual time. Catherine might have thought something seeing that scene. I caressed Catherine's head, feeling heartbroken. I'm sorry, Catherine. Daddy is just really busy with work. Hey, Catherine, how about we go hiking with a packed lunch on our next day off? Catherine nodded with an but her face remained gloomy. I also work on weekdays, so I always make Catherine feel lonely. I wonder if there's a way I can create time for Catherine and Tom to spend together. If I ask and Tom ignores, I might have to consider divorce. On such a day when I was deeply worried, I was offered a business trip for 2 nights and 3 days by my company. That night, I stayed awake waiting for Tom to return home. Tom, who was emanating a sweet perfume, returned home a little past midnight. I was supposed to be asleep, but I was awake, so Tom looked surprised and turned to me.
It's rare for you to be up this late. Is something wrong?
While gauging my expression, he said that. I told Tom about the 2-night, 3-day business trip and how Catherine has been downcast lately. When it comes to business trips, I need Tom's support. My parents don't live nearby, so I can't ask them for help. What should I do? If he declines, I have no one else to rely on. While thinking about this, Tom made a suggestion.
Maybe we should take a trip for a change. Since Emily will be on her business trip.
What? You're going on a trip? I was taken aback by my husband's suggestion. I never expected Tom, who hadn't been involved in parenting since Catherine was born, to make such an offer.
I haven't spent much time with Catherine lately, and she seems a bit down, so I thought I'd take a break and go on a trip with her. Emily, just focus on your work and don't worry about anything.
Thank you. Have fun with Catherine. Overwhelmed with joy, I smiled at Tom for the first time in a while.
All right, I need to plan the trip for Catherine.
Saying that, my husband began making travel plans. Upon hearing this, Catherine was ecstatic.
Yay! Woohoo! Are we really going on a trip, just the 2 of us?
Seeing Catherine's joyful face made me feel happy as well. For now, I might not need to consider divorce. With that thought, I headed to my business trip. The trip after giving birth was progressing more smoothly than expected. Work went smoothly and I ended up coming home a day earlier than planned. Knowing Tom, he probably left dishes and laundry undone. Once I get home, I'll start cleaning and then go out to buy ingredients for dinner. With such vague thoughts, I returned home. I was excited, picturing Catherine's happy face. However, upon entering the house, I was met with the sight of my tearful daughter. I hurriedly rushed to her side. "Catherine, are you okay? Are you feeling sick? Wait, where's your dad?" I couldn't find my husband anywhere in the room. There was no one there, just Catherine and me. Could he have gone out, leaving such a young child alone? Relieved by Catherine's well-being, I hugged her tight, frustrated by my husband's irresponsible behavior. Then suddenly, Catherine began to tell me something beyond belief.
Daddy said he was going on a trip with me, but he left me alone in the house and went somewhere by himself. It was so dark at night, and I'm scared of being alone.
Wait, what happened while I was away? Catherine had been left alone in the house the whole time? My heart was pounding so hard, I thought I could hear it. Perhaps, feeling safe upon my return, Catherine fell asleep in my arms. The thought of such a young child being alone in this house, she must have been too scared to sleep. To leave Catherine alone for a whole day, I would never even let her stay home alone for a short trip to the local store. I grabbed my phone, trembling with anger, and called my husband. "Hello, Tom. Where are you and what are you doing right now?" Holding back the urge to shout, I asked my husband in a low voice.
"Oh, Emily. Good job at work. Where am I? I'm on a trip with Catherine, remember?"
My husband lied to me so casually, unaware that Catherine was asleep in my arms. On a trip with Catherine? How dare he lie to me like that? I bet he's with some woman wearing strong perfume. I was at a loss for words, appalled at my husband who lied so brazenly. Without any hint of caution, Tom continued talking.
"This resort is amazing, and the food is delicious. I wish we could have stayed a few more days."
Tom, who left our daughter alone and shamelessly enjoys his own adulterous trip. This must be his true nature. I don't want to think of him as my husband anymore. Thanks to his words, all the worries I had been holding on to were cleared away. Wouldn't it be okay if you stayed another night or two? I realized I had said this to my husband. How many nights he stays doesn't matter to me anymore. Seeing Tom pondering, I added, "Please, go ahead."
"Actually, I think I'll come back. You'll be home tomorrow, and it might be lonely without Catherine and me, right?"
He's just trying to match up the story. If I come home first, he'll be caught leaving Catherine alone at home, so he's trying to come home before me. Knowing what Tom is thinking, I decided to lie. Actually, I got caught up in a bit of a problem, and it's going to take longer. I think I'll be back much later than planned. Why don't you extend your stay? Please enjoy your trip with Catherine without worrying about me. Tom didn't doubt the lie I told for a second.
"In that case, maybe I'll stay another day. I haven't been spending time with her much. Catherine's having a blast too. I'll make sure to enjoy our time together. Let me know as soon as you decide when you'll be back."
Catherine's having a blast? I wish he'd never come back. All I responded was with, "All right," holding back the words I truly wanted to say. Time to get started. I put Catherine to bed and started preparing for the move. "Hello, can you arrange a move as soon as possible?"
"As soon as possible?"
Yes, there isn't much to move. After calling the moving company, they agreed to come. Luckily, because it was off-season, I got a reservation right away. When the moving company arrived and things got noisy, Catherine woke up. With a bright face, I said to Catherine, "Hey, Catherine, I'm thinking of living apart from Dad."
Live without Dad?
Yes, I'm thinking of quitting my job and going to live at your grandparents' house. That way, I won't make you feel lonely anymore, and we can spend more time together.
Is that so?
If we decide to live at your grandparents' house, you might not see Dad anymore. How do you feel about that? Even though it might be a bit harsh, I wanted to hear 3-year-old Catherine's thoughts. My daughter asked in a small voice.
I won't see Dad anymore?
I looked at Catherine with concern and gently asked, Yes, but if you're sad about not seeing Dad and want to, I might reconsider. Can you tell me how you feel? I've involved Catherine in adult matters, so I at least want to fulfill her wishes. If Catherine wants to continue seeing Tom in the future, I need to consider what's next. I can't imagine Tom, who leaves his daughter alone at home when he goes out, will value his time with her after the divorce. I had a lot on my mind, but Catherine's response cleared it up.
Catherine wants to go to Grandpa's house with Mom. Dad ignored Catherine even when she cried out, "Don't leave me." He probably doesn't care about Catherine at all.
Taking such a trip with another woman, leaving a 3-year-old daughter behind. It's my fault for making Catherine feel this way. If I knew it would turn out like this, I shouldn't have left my daughter with Tom when I went on a business trip. I should have ended things with him sooner back then. I'm sorry for making you feel this way. Thank you so much, Catherine. Holding the deeply hurt Catherine tightly in my arms, I began the moving process with her. Afterward, I called my father-in-law for the first time in years. Tom's father was actually a well-known leader in our hometown, but he was a warm-hearted person full of compassion. My husband couldn't bear his strict-natured father and left home. Living alone was hard for him, and he received support in various ways. The company where my husband now works is also connected through my father-in-law. My father-in-law dotes on Catherine a lot. He even built a house for us as a wedding gift. Since Catherine was born, he has given us various baby items and has been watching over her growth. I tearfully reported our current situation to my father-in-law. I told him about my husband's affair trip, our thoughts on divorce, and our decision to leave the house he had graciously built for us to start anew. My father-in-law, who listened to everything, immediately said,
I understand. Since the house was originally in my name, I'll put it up for sale. I won't provide a place for such a foolish son to return.
With rising anger, the father-in-law continued,
Emily, I want you to receive the proceeds from the house sale. I apologize for making Catherine sad. If you ever need help, please, count on me. This is my atonement.
Holding back my tears, the father-in-law spoke to me in a cheerful and kind voice.
Leave Tom to me, including his mistress. I'll send them far away. I was wondering what to do since I was short of hands.
Thanks to the warm support of the father-in-law, I was able to focus on preparing for the move without further worries. A few days later, my cell phone rang.
Hey, what the hell is going on?
Tom's loud yelling made me want to unconsciously move the phone away from my ear.
Where are you now? Where are my things? Why is my house being sold? You know something, don't you?
All of your belongings have been sent to your parents' house. I asked your father to sell our house. It seemed Tom still couldn't grasp the situation as he continued to shout.
How am I supposed to live now? Don't abandon me. I even bought souvenirs. What about Catherine? She's crying because we lost the house. Why are you doing this?
Even in this situation, he thinks I don't know about his lies. And to mention Catherine's name? Unbelievable. I can't endure this any longer. Stop joking about Catherine crying. Catherine is with me and she's not crying. We're getting divorced. I don't need your gifts, or you, anymore. Overwhelmed with anger, I raised my voice at Tom. You left our daughter to go on a trip with your mistress. And now you say, don't leave me? Don't make me laugh. Catherine is only 3 years old. Can you imagine the fear of a little child left alone in a house? The fears she felt in you losing the house are incomparable. Why don't you just go to your mistress? Stunned by my words, Tom responded.
Why do you know that?
You came home every night smelling of woman's perfume. How could I not notice? Especially when you didn't even spend quality time with the family. How could I not suspect? Thinking about Catherine? I knew about it for a while, but I held back. I was such a fool.
Wait, Emily! You know what kind of person my father is, right? If he finds out about my affair, I don't know what will happen. Please, don't divorce me.
That's none of my concern. Even in this situation, all Tom thought about was himself. He didn't feel guilty about leaving Catherine alone, lying to me, or about the affair. In my growing frustration, I lashed out at him. From the beginning to the end, you've been betraying our family. You deserve to be punished. Do you even realize how terrible you've been?
Emily, wait! I truly admit my wrongdoings. Please, don't divorce me. If my father seriously punishes me, I'll be in trouble.
It's too late. I was so disgusted by your actions that I purposely contacted your scary father, whom you're so afraid of, to punish you.
Getting beaten up by my father? What am I going to do?
Serves you right. Hopefully, he scolds you severely. Also, expect a demand for property division and Catherine's education expenses from both you and your mistress. Goodbye. I hung up the phone feeling satisfied without waiting for a reply. Shortly after the call with my husband, education expenses from both Tom and his mistress was transferred to my account. It seemed 10 more than the going rate, probably due to my father-in-law's intervention. I heard Tom and his mistress borrowed money from my father-in-law to pay me. To repay that debt, they are now working on a tuna fishing boat in the open sea. They're said to be working in harsh conditions all day long.
It's only natural to make them work like this. He betrayed his family. Don't worry, I'll settle the score for you.
My father-in-law said, with a sly smile. Later, I received the proceeds from the sale of the house from a real estate agent. I remember my father-in-law mentioning it. He must have managed to sell the house as I wished. Thanks to his generous support, I can live comfortably for a while without working. After divorcing Tom, I moved back to my parents' house. Catherine and I visit my father-in-law once a month.
We came to play, Grandpa.
Oh, Catherine, come over here. What should we play today?
Grandpa, I love you because you always play with me.
Every time we visit, my father-in-law prepares a gift for Catherine. She seems to look forward to seeing him. I can't thank him enough. Having such a strong ally makes me feel I can face any challenge, whether as a single mother or a divorcee. Seeing Catherine happily playing with the crew members and jumping around joyfully makes me reaffirm one thing. I made the right decision. I hope to continue living happy days with Catherine, backed by the warm support of my father-in-law.